Nationally, the market for heritage tourism, cultural tourism, and ecotourism is rapidly expanding, and yet historic sites are drawing fewer and fewer visitors. At the very time when Americans have developed historical amnesia, and the need for improved teaching of American history in the schools is critical, historic sites seem to have lost their way. How does the site of an event that lasted less than 10 minutes and took place well over 100 years ago remain relevant today? How can it add real value to the community it serves? How does it attract visitors hungry for a rich and engaging historic experience and get them to come back? This is the story of a small cultural institution that has responded to this highly challenging situation. It is the story of the reinvention of the Theodore Roosevelt inaugural site.
The site opened in 1970-71, and in 1995 we had a 25-year anniversary. So the Board of Trustees, as well as the staff, decided maybe it was time for an evaluation. And as part of that evaluation, we decided that perhaps we were not quite presenting ourselves to the public like we'd really like to. The real purpose of this house, and the only reason the federal government really cared as much about us, was the fact that we were the site of the inauguration of President Theodore Roosevelt in our library.
And that really led to a change in the tour and our exhibits, and really the move towards the new educational initiative. In a few words, I think the transformation is nothing short of amazing, because we went from just a very nice historic house museum with a wonderful guided house tour, which served our purposes for more than 25 years, to an utterly outstanding museum, still a historic house museum, but one which really captured the imagination of our visitors. And then what we weren't able to do before was, after they were introduced with the guided tour, they were able to go upstairs and actually experience his presidency, which because of our space considerations before we were not able to do. We were able to introduce the issues that Roosevelt faced during his presidency, which are still issues that our nation faces today.
We had no space to have our administration, to have what amounts to a full-fledged museum, where you have an entry and an exit, and you also have a museum shop, and you have archives, and you have all the things that you need. We decided that the best place to put some extra space would be contiguous to the house on the property, and we would be able to do that without disturbing the footprint that was here in 1901.
The Carriage House project was so important to moving the site forward. It created a visitor center for us. So now visitors could arrive, be welcomed, could wait for a tour to begin. Just so happened that the museum shop was in the same location, so they could browse before a tour or after a tour. There were accessible restrooms, now an elevator that could take them to the second floor or even to the lower level if necessary. The second floor created a large open space that could be used for programming. Lectures, seating close to 100, open space for educational programs, for children, for adults. It could also be used for luncheons, for small dinners, for any kind of programming.
The Gateway to Greatness expansion allowed us to bring the footprint of the property back to its 1901 configuration. It allowed us to, in as much as possible, recreate the cultural landscape. In other words, the setting, what the house looked like in 1901. The other big thing as far as our visitors concerned, it gives us the Gateway to Greatness allowed us vehicular access from Delaware Avenue, so people can find us. People can actually see us from Delaware Avenue.
We are focused on 5 issues that were of import to Roosevelt, both at the time of the inauguration, during his presidency, and just as relevant today as they were when he took the oath of office here in Buffalo. The reality is that these issues are impacting all of us as citizens, and as we thought about the issues and how we could play a role in improving this community that we're all a part of, it seemed that no one was really talking about citizenship in a contemporary way. And therefore we felt that there was an opportunity for the Theodore Roosevelt site to take a role, a leading role, if you will, in educating, informing, and stimulating dialogue about these issues, not only as they relate to us as citizens of the United States, but as citizens here in Buffalo and in Western New York. We have transformed the Theodore Roosevelt inaugural site into a historic house museum for the 21st century. But in spite of that, the reality is that once somebody takes a tour, there is little reason in and of itself to come back again. So programming plays a very significant role in terms of our strategic approach to creating an institution that is going to be sustainable for the long run.
In Western New York, we believe that there's still an awareness gap about what this place is, what it's all about, what a wonderful experience it is. So as an organization, we said, look, we have a modest marketing budget. How are we going to close that awareness gap? And the approach that we've taken, and I believe it's been the right approach, is to say, look, let's not do what a lot of small organizations with small marketing budgets tend to do, which is spend a little money here and a little money there. Let's just place a bet on a particular channel. In our case, it was television. We said we need to reach as many people as we can with the message of what the TR site is, what it's all about, and why you should come here. I think what we're seeing is the benefits of that. We've been able to sort of close the awareness gap, and we're seeing more and more people who now know what the place is all about and are coming to see us.
We wanted our visitors to be educated and to think about new ideas, but we also wanted them to leave saying, wow. And you know, I think we actually were able to do that, and for our museum to do that, that was a great accomplishment.
The TR site has more ambitious plans for 2016 and beyond. With the efforts of its dedicated staff and volunteers and the continued support of the community, the TR site is ready to help create a more informed citizenry and serve as a catalyst for positive change in Western New York.